By now, you've probably heard that LLMs can write code. You may even have tried this out yourself. And maybe you're wondering, how can I use this? Well, LLMs just write all the code now themselves? Well, today we'll use AI Assistant to explore where they're effective, where they need your help, and where they just tend to get it wrong. Let's start by asking AI Assistant to make us a simple tic-tac-toe game using JavaScript and React. And there it is, doing a pretty impressive job of generating a whole bunch of code. Now we'll copy those files into our project and futz around for a minute or two. And some parts look familiar here. For example, this calculate winner logic is a lot like the popular React tutorial. Okay, let's try it out now. And incredibly, it works. Amazing. So clearly it's quite good at this sort of coding task. I mean, there are some anomalies. I'd prefer a function-based approach to this object-oriented approach. I think that's just cleaner. And also when I do this calculate winner function, it's kind of brute forcey. It kind of goes over all possible cases and it assumes we always have a 3x3 grid. For a cleaner code base, maybe we shouldn't assume that the grid is 3x3. And maybe even we want to use a 2x2 array instead of a one-dimensional array of size 9. So let's ask AI Assistant to change that. We'll ask it to handle a board of arbitrary size and to store everything in a two-dimensional array, not one-dimensional. So now it's generating and okay, looks good. We'll copy that into some files and look what it's done. Notice it made a new number of rows constant, which I've set to 4. And that number of rows constant is used elsewhere in the code, including in the calculate winner function, which figures out, of course, who wins the game. I had to just fix a syntax error, a little missing angle bracket, and now we're off to the races. We're playing the game and that doesn't look good. So what went wrong? Let's look back over here and, oh, look at this note that it added for us. And sure enough, the model helpfully warned us it hadn't made calculate winner work with larger boards. Look back at the code, it did change calculate winner, but in a way that still assumes the board's always 3x3. It didn't add a loop or a map or something, it still checks individual array elements. So let's select the offending code and ask it to fix it, to explicitly say, you've done this incorrectly, please follow our game rules. And it will do that, but you'll notice that the LLM is smart. It makes code that works, but it doesn't know your business logic as well as you do, even in a simple case like tic-tac-toe. It's your job to make sure that it's following the logic you want it to follow. And what it's done this time is pretty impressive. It's used things like from and every to go through the entire array, whatever size it is, to check to see if a player has won. Now let's try it out, suspense. If a player gets 3 in a row, will they be a winner? No, they're not a winner, yay. Okay, how about if they get 4 in a row? Does that work? Hey, look at that, yay. Just for fun, we're gonna see if AI Assistant can write more compact, beautiful code for this. We'll try a different prompt in a different area. And in fact, it produces some really beautiful code this time using sets, which it then helpfully explains to us. If it gets really stuck, the model might give you an answer that looks respectable and is consistent with its training data, but which is in fact totally made up. This is the famous hallucination. Let's say we ask the AI Assistant to center the status line above the board without using inline styles. The model does its best. It adds a CSS class called status. The only problem is we don't have that CSS class. I tried this a few times and I watched it make up class names like centered and status centered, logical, but non-existent. Another project of mine uses the hero icons library. So I asked the AI Assistant to change the microphone icon here to a speaker icon. Hero icons does have an icon called speaker icon, but the model kept making up things like speakerphone icon. Presumably its training data didn't include this library or the most current version. The model aims to please. If I ask it to use a grinning potato icon, it invents one of those too. So the LLM is like a super smart junior developer with amazing potential who needs constant oversight. It's like Stack Overflow, a repository of wonderful and less wonderful solutions for small-scale coding problems. It just isn't going to know your business logic or what makes code most maintainable, and it won't know about libraries and frameworks that weren't in its training data. AI assisted coding will make your life easier by helping with simple tasks, but you'll still have a job and a better one.